During times of uncertainty, it's comforting to know we have a healthcare system in our community that's been committed to supporting us for well over a century. In this current time, we are standing together, and our bond is stronger than ever. KDMC, caring for our community like no one else can.
Yeah, I guess the best way to start is to just say what I think everybody that's on this, saw what an incredible, college baseball game, and of course, well pitched game by both sides. Of course, Doug was tremendous, and I think tied a school record, if I'm not mistaken, with strikeouts tonight with 16, and their guy Hubert, really matched him and early on, and we just it was one of those games where unfortunately it comes down to a couple plays, and we were able to just make a couple more plays than them, but certainly a super pitched game by them, and of course Broadway continues to be super at the end of the ball game, and it's what a luxury to have a guy like Taylor to be able to call on. But yeah, again, I think it was all about pitching, our from our side and their side, and not much offense on either side.
Ben Garrett.
Mike, after the fifth inning, Doug was pushing 100 pitches. He'd given up the 3 runs. His velocity was a little bit down, and then he dug deep and found it to keep going. What did you see from him that allowed him to keep extending and go that long?
Well, that's Doug, and we've all seen it, Ben, where when the game's on the line, he can take it to another gear. And we were talking about that on the radio, and watched him. Not that it's been a ton, but he's a guy that can throw 110, 115, 120 pitches. You don't want to do that obviously every week, but there's some guys that that hit a wall at 90 or 95, and he can always, with the game on the line, reach back and get a little something extra. And obviously we needed all of that tonight.
Trey.
This point, does this feel like in the best pitching performance from Doug in his career so far?
Wow. Not ready for that, Trey. I don't know. Certainly, when you talk about moments and what we needed. I mean, he was really good. A couple of years ago against Clemson here in Game 2, and almost threw a complete game, if I remember right. And so he's pitched a ton of big games. I'm not going to go out on a limb and pick which one, but certainly we needed every bit of Doug today.
Nick.
Mike, you've talked a lot this year about how confident this team is in close games, big moments like this. What was the dugout atmosphere like when the lead went down? How did you guys kind of react in the dugout to the deficit, and how did you climb back?
I think they handled it great. Obviously, it was kind of a kick in the gut. We had that lead, and unfortunately, we weren't able to add on to that lead. But credit Hubert for that. I think it was more him and less of what we didn't do. But I thought our guys handled it well, like you said. We've handled those moments well all year. Being able to handle the adversity. This team just continues to handle tough moments. And again, I thought after a couple home runs, and you lose the lead, we hung in there. We kind of spoiled an inning that we had with bases loaded. But again, our guys, continued to hang in there and continue to set it up offensively.
Adam.
Coach, could you just talk a little bit about the play that Jacob made coming over to first?
Yeah, that was a huge play. In the 8th inning, Jacob had 2 relatively routine ground balls, to start the inning. And then Martin, I think it was Martin, that smoked the ball up the middle off, Broadway's calf, and looked like it was going to be a base hit. And, Gonzo comes across and barehands it and makes a huge play. And in games like this, sometimes those are game winners. And when you look at that, not only does it keep the tying run off the plate, but it also, it keeps Cabell from batting, being the winning run at the plate, with, again, a lot more pressure, I think, than having to face him to start off an inning. So, giant play by Jacob.
Chris?
Mike, can you talk a little bit about the crowd atmosphere? From my vantage point, the crowd seemed to be hanging literally on every pitch from Doug. What energy did that provide y'all?
Well, that's one of the big reasons that you want to be at home, and when you look at it statistically, why the home team in regionals do so well, and that's one of always one of our goals is to play at home. But tonight, in those types of games, kind of that heavyweight boxing match, you need that. You need the crowd, and I thought the crowd kind of helped Doug in some of those tough innings, and they could feel the big moments. And then, I think the place got really loud there at the end for the last 6 outs when Taylor took over.
Thank you.
Nick?
Mike, what happened with TJ on the kickoff? And what do you kind of say to a guy after something like that happens to him?
What the hell are you doing? No, I didn't even see it, to be honest with you. I mean, I saw the out. I don't know what happened. I'm assuming we'll have to see it on film, but my guess is just you got caught off and not paying attention and got a little too far off the base, obviously. But I don't see if I didn't know if he slipped, or I didn't see any of that. But my first answer is probably the correct answer.
Back to Trey.
And Mike, I'm curious just how, before this game, knowing what's at stake specifically for the Saturday winners bracket game, do you want the team to feel that pressure, knowing that a difference, depending on the result today, the difference is having to win 3 games between winning 1 game?
I don't understand the question. Do I want my team to feel the pressure?
Not feel the pressure, more so do you, I don't know how to explain this now that I think about it. Do you want them to be aware of that? Or is that something that, just going out there with the way this team's played all year, is it just, it's another ball game?
I think I know what you're asking. And, did we sit in the pregame and say, hey, this is why this game is so important? We don't do that, but I think you're not giving those guys enough credit. They as much as we try to tell them, hey, don't read the stuff on the internet, try to stay out of the news and all the blogs and all that, all the predictions and all those things. This is the life in their generation. They know so much more than we ever thought we'd know, right? Growing up, and so they know how it works. And so to me, the point is to not look at it that way. To look at it as, it's a huge moment, we all understand, but at the end of the day, when you hear the process and what does that mean, control what you can control, and what does that mean? It means the best way to have success is to not think about how big the moment is. The best way to have success is to not think that if I don't get a hit, we're going to lose, right? Or my batting average is going to go down. The best way to have success is just be where your feet are, to be able to control what you can control and have a quality at bat, make a good pitch, play defense. But the tough thing is to try to block out all the stuff that you're talking about. So no, absolutely not. We don't sit there beforehand and, talk about how big the game is.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. Good win. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Seth.
We'll get going with Kevin Graham. First question from Ben Garrett.
Kevin, there in the 5th, y'all lost the lead. Doug looked like he was kind of gassed out a little bit, but then he just fires it up and turns it up. Did that give y'all a lift, and was that really the catalyst that allowed y'all to come back and battle back?
Well, we've come back so many times this year from crazy deficits, but that's what Doug does. I mean, if you look even his velo, I think from 100 pitches on, it's the hardest he'll throw in the game, and it's just cool to watch. I mean, no one in Doug had any doubts that Doug was going to throw up more zeros for us, and we were going to scrap a few runs on the board.
As far as the offense, only 4 hits. You walked 5 times, but what did they do well that really limited you all?
Yeah, he was pitching both sides of the plate with his fastball, mixing that curveball in every count for strikes, which makes it tough. You know, when you locate that fastball both sides of the plate, it's hard to just sit there and you know, really sit on it and get after it when he's locating it like that.
Nick?
You were there in the on-deck circle when Tim was trying to chug out that error there. What did you see from him? And did you know he had that kind of speed in him, that kind of hustle in him with the knee?
Yeah, he was flying, you know. What a 90 he gave us there, and we needed all of it.
Yeah. Nope.
Go ahead, Ben.
Doug, you look like you're fading there in the 5th, man. What allowed you to flip the switch and finish that thing out and really provide the energy it seemed like that the team needed to get through it?
Yeah, it's in moments like that when you're in the postseason when you start to think about how many chances you're going to get to wear this jersey ever again. So when you get in those moments like that, that's when you just kind of flip a switch and everything starts to change when you start looking at things differently.
Could you sense that the team needed a lift? And because you had a lot of energy when you're coming off, and every time you seem to strike out a guy, it seems like you're turning to the dugout. Did you sense that they needed a little bit of an energy jolt from you?
Yeah, I love firing up the dugout. That's part of the fun of being a good pitcher, is just trying to command the energy. I think I've talked about it before. I think a pitcher, when they're on the mound, they command the energy of the game, and they bring up people, and they can really make a difference with how they go about pitching. So yeah, I was always looking towards the dugout and just try to get those bats going.
Chris Muller?
Doug, it felt like Swayze was really alive tonight. Talk about the energy that provided you.
Oh, it was everything. They were fantastic tonight. We had the towels going, so we were getting them pumped up, and then they were just giving it right back to us. So it was just an electric atmosphere to play in. And when our fans are like that, it's almost hard for us to lose. When we show up like that, we really do. So when we're just so alive in the crowd, it gives us all a boost, and it makes it a lot more fun.
Chase?
Yeah, Doug, I mean, obviously everything was kind of working, but how do you sort of rate your stuff? And did you do anything different kind of second, third time through?
Yeah, early in the game, I thought that my breaking balls were really bad. I couldn't really locate them that well. I think like first time through the lineup, it was just kind of me just throwing fastballs through them. And that worked for a little bit. And then obviously second time through the lineup or wherever it was, fastball slowed down a little bit and they started getting barrels to it. So that's when I just started to try and throw the crap out of the curveball and start bouncing it a little bit, use their aggressive mentality when they're hitting to my advantage and just start bouncing them a little bit and making them swing more.
Sorry, what'd you yell coming off in the 6th there? Looked like you kind of got a little more animated that time.
Oh, man, I said something to the extent of "we ain't done yet" or something, just like this we're not done, something like that. I was just trying to get them going, but I don't know, maybe some provocatives. I don't know.
Nick?
Doug, I think you guys are something like 21-10 this year when games decided by 3 or less. Just where do you think that comes from that you guys are able to play so well in close games?
By the way, love your Twitter. The facts, fantastic. I don't know. We always play. I think this team, and I think it's a key element to a team that can go deep into the postseason, is someone when you win the close ball games, because everyone can show up one day and just hit the crap out of the ball or throw a shutout. But we've been so good in these games, I think, just because our will to win and I think we're just being Rebs, all encompassing. So being able to do all those things allows us to win those close games.
Back to Ben.
You touched on it, Doug, that your fastball kind of lost a little bit of life there in the 5th. I think it was touching like 88 at the max, but then you started throwing harder as the game went on in the 6th and the 7th. How were you able to rediscover your velocity?
Just getting amped up, honestly. Really just I think sometimes I can lose my legs, not to get too mechanical, but I think sometimes I can lose my legs and just try and throw my wing as hard as I can and just try and amp it up. But trying to stay in my legs, stay closed a little bit longer, and try and reach in the mitt. All those things together. You want to keep it simple when you're on the mound, but all those things tied together allowed me to get deeper into that ball game.
All right. Before we get any provocatives from Doug, that's all for him tonight. Doug, thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Adi.